How we doing?
Hold on.
We're good? We're good?
Now we're good. Now you're good.
Now we're good? Now we're good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hey! Welcome, everybody. We got a pretty good podcast today. I'm here, Gibbles, with my co-host, Kula. Am I pointing the wrong way? I'm pointing the wrong way. This way. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about today. We skipped last week because there wasn't a whole lot, and now there is.
felt like everybody was just like, Monday's not a good day. And then it was just like every day of the week, everything else came out.
Yeah, we got drama from Escape from Tarkov. If you haven't heard what's going on, which like everybody's covering it right now.
I kept away from this so that I could be kind of pleasantly surprised with this one.
Well, I spent like all day today like just reading into it. So we've got talks about different adaptations, both video game to TVs and movies, and the other way around. Blizzard news, which usually isn't good. In two different ways.
It hasn't been for a while. Xbox and Blizzard have been just a very bad topic of conversation.
And Crab Souls hot topics going on out of that game.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, is it?
It's out. Yeah.
Oh, it's out? Okay, cool. Well,
yeah.
yeah. With that, we can kick off with
I'll
some
start because
Tarkov.
I know the
Cool.
Tarkov one's gonna be a little bit long, and I got a couple
Yeah.
of really short ones. So,
Mhm.
Game of Thrones is reportedly getting an MMO RPG. It has now they've now finalized in on a publisher. They're looking at publisher Nexion. For those who don't know who Nexion is, they made the finals. They've done a Maple Story. They've done Cartwriter. A lot of like, you know, finals was pretty big. I mean, that was a pretty fun shooter. If you haven't played that, it's definitely worth, you know, taking. It's a free to play. But they are taking on the Game of Thrones MMORPG series. It looks like the way that they've talked about it is it's going to take place around season 4, season 5 of the show, which I think is a good spot to like put a MMO, right? I mean, it's a big chunk of Westeros that's being affected during those 2 seasons. And for those who need a little bit of refresher, a little bit of spoilers here. It'll be set partially set in the north with such locations as Winterfell, but that season 4, season 5 is when Roose Bolton is the Warden of the North, and Jon Snow and Sam Tarly are still posted at the wall. So. Yeah, so I think it'll be a good one. They're gonna run through a campaign that
Isn't it
takes you
supposed
kind
to
of
be an
through all of
MMO?
Westeros. Yeah, it's an MMO.
And they're setting it inside of the main story of Game of Thrones. I don't like that.
I mean,
I
I
would
don't like
think
it, but I
like
mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see what
I
happens, right?
because what I would think is just don't like make it set like after or before, right? Make it like not deal with like necessarily the actual like throne or
Like
whatever.
use the land, but not the. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah, because otherwise you got some weird. It's gonna be weird. Like you just walk up to Jon Snow and you're pledging to be one of the Night's Watch or something as like one of the factions. I don't know.
Right.
That
Yeah,
that's a little funky.
it's definitely a little interesting. We'll see how that all pans out and what it ends up looking like and whatnot. It'll be interesting to see.
Cause I can see using the world really well. Cause like you get Essos, you got Westeros, you've got Bravos. Those are all like really cool settings. Like, I can imagine like spending a lot of time like in Bravos in an MMO.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that would be pretty fun. Couple more here, little ones. BlizzCon has been canceled for this year. For this year, they promised to return in future years, but this year has been canceled. I think this has to do with them just kind of finalizing the merger, getting all that stuff, you know, put in. It's a big deal. I can't remember the last time they had to cancel BlizzCon. Maybe it was during COVID, but like I think they still did something online for it. It's a BlizzCon is kind of for. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like the place to be every year.
I'm also wondering if they just don't have anything to show on it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they showed their hand last year a bit, and earlier this year with WoW announcements and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they definitely have. They definitely. It's interesting that they are canceling this year. But yeah, I think it's it came before the Q3 earnings call that happened later that day, which I will also get into because that's part of our thing. So Microsoft boasted a reported game revenue of 51% year over year. But this is very, very deceiving. 55 points of that net impact were from the Blizzard acquisition. So if you take out that acquisition, they actually were down 4% year over year, and Blizzard was actually down a little bit on its normal quarterly. I think they said it was like less than a percent. It wasn't a lot, but it was less than a percent. They also stated that the Xbox portion of Microsoft had 31% less consoles sold this year over year. So nobody's really buying those consoles anymore, which is
Yeah.
not really surprising.
I mean, it was like 6 months ago now or something like that. But when Phil Spencer said they lost the console war,
Right. Yeah.
those like
I
his
think
actual
that
words.
this is definitely where that shows.
Yeah.
Um,
And Activision losing money. I mean, I can't tell you an Activision game that's come out. I mean, was there a new COD? I mean, Warzone is like still popping pretty much, but like,
yeah, they had a new COD last year.
yeah, I
Um,
also can't tell you any Activision. I can tell you old Activision like titles. Activision
right.
used to be like popping, but I can't tell you any new IPs they've generated.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I I feel like they did this merger to try to like boast some numbers, and the numbers that they were hoping to boast did not come the way that they had hoped or expected it. So it's well, time will tell, right? I mean, if this is a situation where they end up selling off these IPs because they can't afford to keep them, or they're just gonna eat it, and just try to recoup some of it from their corporate side. Um, Speaking of great games on Xbox, the Manor Lords. I don't know if you've been hearing anything about this, Gibbles.
No, no, no. I heard nothing about
So Manor
Lords.
Lords brings us back to the real-time strategy games. It's a little bit of a mix. You play as obviously a manor lord who oversees a piece of land and has to defend it, and has to make it prosper. But there's a couple of caveats here. So you have your third-person view of your land, and you can manipulate it in that way. And then you can actually dive in as a person and walk around and like help people within your land, like actually help people. Like it has these aspects of like a very like third person style, but then like the fact that you can like run around, and then you're waging wars, and you can actually get right in on the action and see all the wars and whatnot. It's been highly anticipated. It looks like it sold over 1 million copies in its first week. It launched on April 26th, and it's already at 1 million copies in one day, and its concurrent players are 173,000.
It's Clash of Clans
So,
with RTX turned on.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I've been holding on to that joke for a second.
Yeah, it's the highest ever for a city builder, and even in other similar genres such as Colony, Sims, Man of Lords has been a bigger Steam launch than things like Civilization or City Skylines. So definitely, it's free on Xbox. If you have Xbox Live, it's free to play. So
I mean, is it PvP with real time with RT? You said it was like RTS.
it's like RTS style. I think it's more like single player RTS style. I haven't really seen a lot of it being like, and maybe it is like, maybe there is like a multiplayer style where it's like there's kind of a
So it's it's kind of, so what I hear, it's kind of like a better version of like the like Facebook games kind of thing, where it's just, it was like build your island kind of thing and like resource management.
It's another
like Civ 6
single person development game, which like those have been kind of big, and like they've done very well because it's you're not having to fight with a bunch of different people. Like the one person does exactly what he wants to build, and it piques an interest, right? So like IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. They said it is still early access, by the way. So it is definitely still early access, but he says it's very fun to play, but it still feels very early access. So it feels like there's still a lot more that they could do with this and polish up. And his next patch, he plans on fixing all of the bugs that they've been seeing in reports. To tune the archer damage, to tune the trade and supply mechanics, and to slow down the rate of the AI claiming territories, because apparently I guess that was a big thing. Like the AI coming in and taking over was like one of the things I was seeing that people were getting really pissed off about. But other than that, it's been pretty well. It's another one of those like we talked about before, where it's a mid-priced game, so it's not a AAA game. Obviously, it's one person doing it under his own budget, and it's seeing early success at such a like a mid-rate cost. So it'll be interesting to see how this one pans against things like what Stardew Valley did, where they ended up getting a bigger development team and then going back on that bigger development team, going back to single development. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you never know. Like it depends on like how big they balloon themselves if they chew off bite off too many employees and they can chew and or different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think like Steam takes a small portion, right? But if they've sold 1 million copies, if he sold 1 million copies at, I don't even know what it is right now, what the cost is.
I think Steam takes 30. No wait,
30%.
20. I think they're 20.
So it's a $30 game. So we think, you know, it's a $30 game. Let's say they take 30%.
It is.
Points. It is 30%.
Yeah.
Times it's $21 million that guy just netted in. Obviously, you got taxes, but like he could do kind of whatever he wants, right? He can kind of get a few more people on his staff to help him out.
He's got a AAA game budget right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he probably brings people on to kind of polish some of the stuff out that he doesn't have time to do because he's trying to think of more like creative things to be adding to this thing, and then maybe we see like a full release in a couple of years or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm taking us back a second because I was talking about Activision. I was like, what is Activision came out with? I'm on their site right now, and every single thing I'm seeing, the most recent IP was Sekiro from 2019.
Which is
everything else I'm seeing
is
just Call of Duty. They apparently they start releasing more Crash, which Crash Bandicoot is a PS1 game.
Yeah.
There's Spyro and Skylanders, which Skylanders is Spyro, which Spyro is also a PS1 game.
Crash Team Rumbles, yeah.
Tony Hawk's, it's a PS1 game. And then like so if I go back to the next
no new IPs.
IP, the next IP after that is Prototype, which released in 2015.
Yeah. It's been bad for them.
Like where's the new stuff, man? Like you guys owned freaking Guitar Hero. What's going on?
I'm surprised they let Sledgehammer take over the Modern Warfare series, because that was like the whole thing, right? Modern Warfare was Infinity Wars, and then Black Ops was supposed to be Sledgehammer.
I've never been a shooter fan, so I don't know. I don't know nothing.
Yeah,
about
no, that was like the big thing. Like they would do like this back and forth where it was like Sledgehammer would do like a like a Black Ops style game, and then Infinity Wars did the Modern Warfare games. But it looks like they're just moving forward with stuff, which is interesting.
Well, they said they were trying to slow down the release of CODs. Anyways, besides like
which is funny because they're still releasing them every year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like Warzone might have a potential to pick them up money if they can Fortnite that shit and just microtransaction the crap out of it, which
they already do. They already do.
Yeah, but I mean, like they just got to hit the point where they're actually like as big as Fortnite on it, which I also don't want, because I don't want every other game to go get Battle Pass. Yeah.
So speaking of shooters, let's talk about Tarkov.
Okay, so if you don't know what Tarkov is, I guess you could kind of say it's somewhat similar to like Warzone, just to piggyback off of what we were just talking about. It's an extraction shooter though. So the best actual thing I could say is like the Division comparison. So
with seasons, right, where everybody gets wiped back to oblivion.
Yes, you wipe back to your character resets at certain intervals, and everyone has to restart at from zero. There's raids that you can go in and you can pull out resources. You have a limited stash inventory that you can carry. Once you're out and you extract with your loot, you can then sell it. There's PvP involved with it. There's PvE involved with it. A lot of people are asking for specifically PvE maps, single player PvE maps. Some of the best mods that like big mods the community have are single player mods, which actually like the Battlestate Games, which is the developer for it, has kind of like tried to DMCA strike the crap out of those. They don't want them. Well, here's where the big news comes out, because they finally delivered on that PvE by throwing it in with their newest edition of the game.
So you have to pay for it again if you had it.
Not quite. So the unheard edition. So like it's a game where like you could buy the normal version, or you could buy the Edge of Darkness edition. It's the special editions, right? They came with a bunch of stuff. Edge of Darkness said in its thing, every single future DLC would be included in the Edge of Darkness and tacked down for free. It was $150 edition of the game before, and it was a way for people to support the game. It came with some different cosmetics and the promise that every DLC would be free going forward. Well, they just released the Unheard edition for $250. The Edge of Darkness edition is no longer for sale. The PvE edition was Unheard edition only, which means even if you bought the normal game, you couldn't get the PvE edition without paying $250. And the Edge of Darkness, people who bought Edge of Darkness were not grandfathered into the PvE for the Unheard edition, even though all DLC would be theirs for free. Tarkov,
so like what is going on? Like, okay, for one, who the fuck is gonna pay $250 to play a game for one? I mean, I get like with microtransactions you might pay that much over time, like that's like different skins and whatever if it's not part of like the season pass or whatever, but like on a release, who's legitimately going to pay $250 for a game?
Here's the thing. It's not like a release. It's not a new game. It's just another edition that comes with extra, like a couple extra
things.
I
thought about getting into Tarkov, but this is going to turn me right off from
buying it is not it's not Tarkov 2. It's not a whole new game. There's not new maps. There's not new anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a new edition. It's supposed to be like a founder's, like a collector's edition of the game that you can get, which is what Edge of Darkness was.
But they locked the PvE behind this edition.
Yes, so people were super mad about the about that, because the Edge of Darkness was supposed to come with all DLC, future DLC, for its $100 price, and now there's a $250 edition, and the PvE is not included. So everyone's like, "That's DLC. Why isn't it included?" They came out, and I believe it was the actual I can't remember Nadaki. I can't remember his name. Tarkov dev who's like speaking out. I can't remember his name. People are like he's the lead dev, or like the producer. He's one who's been doing most of the talking. I can't find his name. It's fine.
A rare miss for them, honestly.
Well, not really rare, considering it was like 6 or 7 months ago with the wiggle problem, and Tarkov's been riddled with cheaters, and they've done literally nothing about it, and they've already lost a massive amount of their player base because of cheating.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about Tarkov for me was that, like, I've watched a few friends play it, and like the fact that like you never know if you're playing against AI or you're playing against a real person. Like, so I heard their AI is pretty good, like in respect to like how the AI like maneuvers.
So so this gets way worse. What I just said right now about the Unheard edition, that's the tip of the fucking iceberg.
Oh,
so
God.
First off, them saying them not including the PvE version for the Edge of Darkness players, and them getting mad about it. They came out and said, I think it was the lead developer or the producer, came out and said, it ain't DLC. It's a unique feature of the new edition added. So the PvE doesn't count as DLC. So everyone's like,
I don't know how people like think that they can like make that justification and like have it fall not on deaf ears. Like it's not downloadable content to a game I already own. It's unique. Like what?
It's DLC. Everyone and their mother has been like, no, it's DLC. So they've caved on that, and but they said we don't have server capacity right now for everyone to have PvE, which is why their justification for locking it behind the $250 one, because that would justify the server costs to create the PvE edition. Which also, it's a solo player PvE edition. It can be multiplayer with friends. Make it client side. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you?
Or partner with a server company that could do it. Like, there's no reason.
That was my hang up on it.
Do a licensing deal with a server company, like a Pal World type deal, and then like make money off of people renting servers off the server licensing. And yeah, I mean, there's a million different ways to do it.
They then rolled it back a little bit, and Edge of Darkness owners would get the PvE for 6 months.
So, like, let me just tickle your balls a little bit, and then I'll stop. Like, exactly. What? That's the worst.
Yes. So he kept getting bombarded with it, and then he came out again and said, "Unfortunately, I somehow did not foresee the fact of such a reaction. I'm sorry about that." So they came out and said, "I'm sorry that you're upset." Essentially, and they have now, this is over days of them just getting backlash after backlash after backlash, have now said that if you own the Edge of Darkness version, you will be getting the PvE. It's going to be coming out in waves. They didn't necessarily say that it's going to be like if it's also only 6 months, but like we're give them throw a bone for a second. Every Edge of Darkness is going to get PvE.
It feels like that's what they're going to do it for like 6 months. That's why they're doing it in waves, so that they can be like, this wave of people gets it, now they get this.
They're also offering a 50% discount to upgrade to the Unheard edition if you have the if you own the Edge of Darkness edition. So just an extra $125 on top of the already $100. So you're paying them $225.
They're saving $25. Whoa, that's so nice of them.
Here's where...
Is there more?
Okay, so that's the PvE and the DLC. What the fuck? Okay, wait, there's one more thing I want to say about the DLC thing. What the fuck? Someone specifically commented on... Oh, by the way, all of this went place on Reddit. This is where the developer was like commenting and like replying to people, was on Reddit.
Yeah, not the best place to be commenting.
So someone commented on it, like, and asked him, verify, are all Edge of Darkness owners going to be getting all DLC going forward? And he said, yes, they're going to be getting all DLC. And he specifically said DLC. So it's like, okay, one person said content going forward, and he said DLC. So pretty sure they're going to do another one of these and say, it's not DLC, guys, it's a new edition.
Oh, DLC, it's a new edition. You know what you're getting into. You know what this reminiscently reminds me of, honestly? It reminds me of Star Citizen. Remember how long ago Star Citizen came out and it's still in early access and it's not a real game? And like, I mean, people are playing it, but it's like,
it's crowdfunded. It's always going to be early access.
It's just so early. It's so dumb.
So here's where that alone is drama. And this alone is drama. Here's what the Unheard edition comes with. Let me actually pull it up real quick.
Oh God.
Because it doesn't just come with the PvE. No. It also comes with... Oh, where the heck? Why can't I just find the actual like the Tarkov like ad? I don't want Forbes. Like, take me to like the actual escape from Tarkov.com. Okay, I will try and do it from the top of my head instead. Wait, maybe I can find it. I'm so close. Where's it at? Crap. Shoot. You can't find it. Okay. Well, it comes with a ton, and I mean a ton of pay to win. An absolute metric fuck ton of it. So Tarkov, it resets all the time, right? We have characters that back down to 0. Well, you get an increased stash tab. So you can now, whenever you go into raids, you can pull more stuff out. You get increased pocket sizes, so you can actually fit magazines in your pockets, because there's like 4 pocket slots besides your stash that you have They increased 2 of the pocket sizes, so now you can put full mags in there. So now you can not only is your stash bigger, but then you can put less stuff in it when you go into a raid, which then gives you a huge leg up on the first raid, which will then give you a leg up on the next one and the next one and the next one. You get discounts again with the main trader that you can interact with outside of the raids with your loot. You can sell more stuff in the trading peer-to-peer, like player-to-player. You have more
slots in the flea market.
More slots for selling. You also, if you get just flat stat increases. So in Tarkov, it has like a skill tree kind of thing, and you can increase like stats. Like if you have more strength, you can jump higher than other players and different things like that. If you buy the Unheard Edition, you naturally just get a flat stat increase. And if you increase your standing with some NPC, I don't remember what their name is, then scavs, which are like the scavengers, the AI.
Fence is the name of the NPC.
Yeah, they will not shoot you anymore.
Whoa,
and
that's
flat
so
out,
nice of them.
Just for owning the Unheard Edition, they won't shoot you if you're farther than 60 meters away. And then if you upgrade the fence, then they won't shoot you at all. Every single possible advantage you could have in Tarkov is available in the Unheard Edition. Like, period.
People, I can understand why people are losing their minds over this.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, you guaranteed. Okay, I finally found it now. Yeah, enhanced stash size, access to PvE, expanded pockets, increased fence standing. So you just naturally get increased fence standing. More slots on the flea market. Unique in-game melee weapon, which is just literally just an asset flip, by the way. Some people are saying that's not an asset flip because it is a knife that exists in the real world, but it's like straight like an asset that you could buy on like the Unreal Engine on Unreal Market. Increased mail retention time, so that's another bonus. I don't know exactly what that does because I never played Tarkov. Additional backgrounds. Okay, that doesn't matter. But you also get the free access to all subsequent DLCs, which I mean the Unheard Edition is they're gonna back it out of the Unheard Edition too. And access to early test servers. You get PTR, PTR, public test ROM. Essentially PTR for all us MMO players. Access. They get paid access to the PTR.
It's so ridiculous.
It is.
Just say you're poor. Just literally say you're poor and call it a day.
It's just literally every possible way.
Yeah. Let's just say you're poor and then make everybody happy so that they understand that you're not making money.
Well, that's one thing I didn't know is that there's multiple editions of Tarkov, and I knew there's multiple editions, but each edition naturally just has the increased stash size.
Yep. So it's not really.
I don't know if that's always been a thing.
It's not.
But
really
no. Each one has a higher one. The more you pay, the larger stash you get. $50 game is 10 by 28 cells, stash cells. So the cells, from what I can tell in the inventory, work like Resident Evil's inventory, where like it has a certain size, or like Path of Exile, where like the item has a specific size, and then like you have so many like slots, and that item and that you can like organize your inventory to fit the slot. The $82 version has 10 by 38 slots, 110 10 by 48, 250 it's 10 by 72. So like you actually like actively, that's a big bump too. Holy crap, 48 to 72.
It is a big bump.
But it's so people are not happy with Tarkov.
Yep.
This is coming off the backs of a lot of really like people have been really excited about other games that have been like kind of coming to like scratch the itch of Tarkov. And so people are really excited for those games. I'm not an extraction shooter fan, so I can't exactly tell you what any of those games are off the top of my head, the names of them. But I know one of them, if you are a fan, you could probably tell me. There was one that came out that just had an open beta that was really well received and people really liked it. So if you're thinking about playing Tarkov, maybe go play the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there?
Right.
Oh, speaking of playing the other one.
The other one.
The other one.
The another Crab's Treasure. So anybody who has been paying attention to the Souls pool knows this game exists. It's pretty fun, honestly. I'll be honest, I've been playing this game with some of the easy mode accessibility stuff turned on just because I wanted to see what the story was all about. It's honestly, it's pretty. I don't want to say adorable because when you get to the later part of the game, it does get a little dark. Like it does get pretty dark. And a lot of people are saying it's very like, a lot of people are calling it a Souls-like. So I guess here's my question. Do you consider Sekiro to be a Souls-like?
Yes.
Okay, so then it would be considered a Souls-like because it's more like Sekiro in that the game is more styled to the like bash the shit out of your enemy and try to get their gauge up and then dodge when you can and when you need to, than it is like the very like pacing, you know, obviously. So here are the breaks of like where it doesn't fit the Souls, a Souls type game. You have one weapon the entire game. It's the same weapon for the whole game, which is why it's more like Sekiro. So you get a crab fork, that is your weapon. You can change the magic in this one's called umami. I think it's fucking amazing. Like the way that they set this game up with the verbiage and whatnot has been fucking amazing. So the magic is umami and it changes based upon what you have on for a shell. So each of the shells has a different umami to them. And then you have stagnant non-shell umami that you can do. So like one of them is that you can like swipe a claw and deal massive damage swiping a claw. The concept of the game is that you're a hermit crab whose shell gets stolen by a loan shark, and is brought to a queen because you can't pay taxes. The currency in this game is microplastics, because plastic and trash in the ocean is like the means of money. I think it's good. I think it's fun. I think it's I've been kind of soft calling it a baby's first Souls-like because of the accessibility. So if you've never played a Souls game before and you want to try to see what like all the hubbub is about like the relentlessness that is a Souls game of just beating your head against the wall until you finally get to where you need to go. You can play this. You can play Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's another like baby's first Souls game. It's not as, I mean, it is at times as unforgiving as a Souls game. If you aren't catching it, but it's more 2D versus 3D.
Well, I mean, you didn't fight Radiance in Hollow Knight though. I don't think.
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's hard. It's a hard fight.
Right, but I mean, like it's the build up in Hollow Knight is a bit different than it is in a normal Souls game. Like in most Souls games, it's very like each boss has its own gimmick that you have to try to learn to get around. And I feel like at least the way that Cal made me play it, the way that Harley made me play it, it was like a build up. Like I had to learn something and then I used what I learned to kind of fight the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, like it is because like you can play it completely blind and get like lost in the map and fight the bosses out of order. That's one of the things that make I think any Souls like really, because you can get into your head and go fight a boss you're not supposed to fight early.
Yeah, and this game does the same kind of thing. So it's a kind of an open. There's a bit of a pathing that they force you on for part of the story, and then like you get to a point where you kind of get into this open area that you can kind of go wherever you want. And then like whatever boss you fight at the time. If you don't like that boss, you can go off and find something else. There are a number of bosses that are like required to get through. I've been seeing a couple of people play this in like its very normal form and find that it's very, very difficult. It's that they're finding it's very hard. There are a couple of pieces that people are kind of waiting for. So the combat's a little rough right now. They expect that to fix with an update. And but overall, a lot of people have really liked this game. A lot of people have really enjoyed the small little bits. There's, you know, the some of the some of the outfits that you can put him in are reminiscent of like different video game things. They've got one for like Mr. Krabs, so you can run around looking like Mr. Krabs in a like Souls-like game. So it's been cute. It's another like low cheap game, so it's $30 MSRP. I think it's on sale right now to 27. It's like 26.99 right now.
Yeah.
Got an early discount from when it got released. It's very new. It's very like, so you'll see a lot of people playing it. But it's yeah, it's got that like in its very base form. If you do nothing, if you turn nothing on, it's very like, if you die, you lose your soul, you lose your microplastics, and you have to go pick them up again. And like the bosses are, you know, are relentless. They kill quite often, and you have to learn how to like, you know, dodge and bob and weave and play that game. The other thing is that the shells all have health bars, so you kind of run as like a double health bar system. So it's like your character has a health bar and then your shell has a health bar. Yeah, and so like parrying, you have to learn how to parry well and whatnot. So it's I've enjoyed it. There's been a lot of stuff in the forums, in the Steam forums, that people have been kind of upset that the achievements are fully are all redeemable whether you have accessibility or easy mode turned on or not. So you get the same achievements from Steam whether you get the help me guide or the not help me guide. Versus some games, they disable the achievements when you're not playing it in its raw form. It's caused a lot of people to be upset about it. I think we had a discussion about it on your stream the other night.
Yeah.
So you know, I think it's a great like entry for some people to get into the gameplay. The way that they have the accessibility mode set up is you can step yourself back down again. So like you can start at a particular place so you can see something, or see how like something fights or however, and then you can slowly drill it down to where you're feeling more comfortable, right? So it's like, it's not like all or nothing. So you can do like high defense, mid defense, low defense, no extra defense. You know, enemies take high damage, mid damage, regular damage. You know, so they kind of do it that way where it's, you know, it can be something that you can kind of learn from. But yeah, I've seen a few people play it.
I have thoughts.
Go ahead, say it.
Okay, well, I mean, like, okay, so like I already says a few things. Like, one, I don't like the term Souls like. Yeah. Two, I don't like. I actually, as much as some of my favorite games ever, right? The first Last of Us, God of War 2018, God of War Ragnarok, they all have this. I don't like it. I don't like difficulty scalers. Because how do you generally scale difficulty? It's, oh, well, if you go up in difficulty, the enemy has more health and deals more damage. And that's not a good scaling system. And if you go down in difficulty, they have less health and they deal less damage. And that's not a good scaling system. You start to become, fights start to become annoying, repetitive, bullet spongy, or if you go down, then nothing ever does anything to you ever, and you one-shot everything. So it's not... some of the best games I've ever played, right? There's an intended difficulty. There's an intended, like, how the game was, like, they plan on playing the game, and then they just input, like, value changes, and then that's the
higher and lower difficulties.
That's the difficulties and lower difficulties. Yeah.
I think off of that, just I'll interrupt you just real quick because I want to speak on that piece of it. I think as artificial intelligence in the correct form that we talked about before, so where you're implementing it in the code portion where it actually like affects the NPCs or the enemies and whatnot, as that gets better, I think that you'll see that like that a harder difficulty,
scalable
will mean,
AI, like different abilities
AI.
and stuff like that. Yeah, that's something I would agree with. That would be okay. But it's
we're
so
on
hard
the precipice of getting there, where like it's more usable to do more like artificial intelligence stuff.
Yeah, that's just so hard to code. I would never ask anyone for it.
I understand, but it's coming.
Um,
I would say it's coming in the next, 5 or 10 years. We're going to get scalable difficulty based upon AI.
yeah. Um, but I mean, like the other thing is, another thing is I don't like them being called accessibility tools. Like it's not
Sure.
accessibility. Accessibility is giving access for people with disabilities.
Accessibility,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's not like kind of call them what they are. It's easy mode items,
Right.
or like difficulty scaling items, right?
Yeah.
I don't like they're not accessibility items really in my mind. Like accessibility is controller different types of alternate controller
Being able to adjust your
support.
controller to meet if you have a specific disability that your fingers
Yeah,
can't
well,
touch a specific way or whatever.
yeah, if you have one of like the like they started creating a bunch of like accessibility controllers recently. Like there's like this like orb one that PlayStation was making. A lot of people like they'll rig some stuff together. Some people make like a controller that's like half a controller. If you're missing a hand, it allows you to like be able to manipulate most of it.
Yeah.
Right. I've watched this one dude. He's currently playing Elden Ring on stream. I don't know. He's right now playing it, but he has been recently playing Elden Ring on stream, and he's been playing with his mouth because he's disabled.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff like that. That's what I consider, or in a vision impairment mode, like larger text,
Yeah.
color blindness, stuff like that. That's accessibility, right?
It does get confusing when you blend the two, right? I mean, so it's like these
Saying,
are
hey,
definitely difficulty scalars.
If you're scared of Souls games, here we gave you baby mode for this one, so come play our game. I don't know. I don't like that. I also have every single time I talk to anyone about, or a lot of people about Souls games, because I've talked to a lot of people about Souls games, and a lot of people, like, I can hear disgust in their voice, like actual disgust, and they're just like, I'll never play a Souls game. Oh, like I'm like, why? Like, because I'm so scared that there's I know I'm not gonna like it because it's so hard. I'm like, you've never tried it though, have you?
I love the story
no,
of
I'm
all
never
the
gonna try
Souls
it.
games. I think the school. I think that's, and I think that's probably where like I resonate the most. Like the stories in all of the Souls games, in all of the FromSoft games, have been so well done and are so compelling that they make you want to play them. But then, like at the same point, is like, I'm not great at the dodge roll like thing, and it's definitely something I have to get better at if I want to do these things by myself. But it's like I do enjoy playing these games with friends and getting through to the point where I can play it like together with people and try to better myself.
Well, that's one of the there's two things that I've loved about Souls. Like, okay, like that's outside of like just I like the gameplay. I think is fun. The stories are great. Like outside of that, there's two things I really love about the Souls games, and that there's two things that happen with the community. As much as there's some bad in the community with the elitism and stuff like that. Let's talk about the good, not the ugly.
Right.
Is that you get two things happen. One, you get, oh my god, dude, you beat Millennia? How, dude? That took me like I died like 500 times before I did that. Oh my god, congratulations, great job. Right? People understand the difficulty that you went through to beat that boss, and there's not really any undercutting of the fact that you beat that boss, right? Like with this game, I could 100% see like, oh, you beat that boss, but did you have accessibility on?
Right.
Oh yeah, you had the things on. You didn't actually beat the boss. You're not actually playing the game, right? It'll generate more elitism and stuff like that, and I don't like that. Like there already is that in Elden Ring with using summons, but
oh, you use summons? Oh, you didn't really beat the game. Summons beat the game for you.
I mean, like they can, but you
have to get the summons though. Some of them require you have to be a good significant way through the game in order to get the good ones.
All you have to do is get the mimic.
Yeah, but the mimic you have to fight the mimic. I mean, the mimic is gimmicky though, right? I mean, you can walk in with no clothes on. Yeah, you can walk in with no clothes on and then turn around.
I literally, I was playing Elden Ring like 2 days ago, and I fought the mimic and I cheesed it. Yeah. I walked in with no weapons equipped, and I re-equipped my weapons, and I killed it because I just didn't want to deal with it.
Right. You can definitely cheese it.
Yeah, but you do have to kill Radon to get that. But
you do, yeah. So you don't have to actually do the Radon piece.
Yeah, but um the other part of the community is that the fights are so hard that it's very, people are there to help you a lot of the time. There's like always summons down. People just want to fight the boss again. People want to pay forward the help that they got from for help for beating a
Right.
boss and stuff like that. And it brings this community together of, you could go on right now onto like Reddit or somewhere and be like, hey, I'm stuck on Millennia, can someone
There's a
come help me?
Discord. There's a Discord you can join that does
Yeah,
all the games, Souls and Bloodborne
like
and
hey,
all of it.
yeah, like hey, this fight's really hard, can like one of you guys like come join me? And people be like, yeah, you'll get more people trying to help you than you can even summon.
Right.
So like those are the things I like for Souls games, and you kind of take that away when you create easy modes in the game.
So this game has no PvP and has no co-op capability. So this is it's very strictly a Sekiro style game where you're by yourself and you get no help, and so I think and that's where a lot of people are like, well, it is Souls, but it's more Sekiro than it is like,
I mean, people call it Seki Soulsborne.
Yeah, they could call it a Seki Soulsborne. Because the
Hmm.
Sekiro game is very like, with the way that its battle system works, it's very different to standard Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
I actually haven't played through it. It's the one game I haven't played through.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that, actually. Honestly, I've heard a lot of people who've played a lot of the Souls games that go, I haven't played it yet because it's so different of a play style.
It's different, yeah.
It's so different, and like you can't walk into this game with the same mentality that you walk into Souls games, because Souls games are all about like rolling in using your invisibility frames to get past attacks and whatnot. And Sekiro is very much about like parrying and dodging and dodging only the skills that can't be parried, and then just beating the ever living shit out of your enemies so that their gauge goes down, their stagger gauge goes up and it staggers them. Like it's a very different game. So it's not uncommon that I have heard a lot of people say, I can't play Sekiro because I've played too much Dark Souls and Bloodborne, that it's so different. It feels so different. There's no stagger bar in Dark Souls. There's poise, but like that's different. It's a different thing,
it's
right?
invisible. Yeah,
it's an invisible thing you can't see. You can't know you're getting close to staggering something like you can in Sekiro.
Yeah, bosses do a stagger meter, but you can't see them.
Right.
But what was I say? Oh yeah, Sekiro, at least for me, and also another person who hasn't played Sekiro, the biggest Souls fanboy I know, Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro and I talked about that. Sekiro.
Yeah, we've both beaten, I think, the second or third boss or something like that, but we just couldn't like really get into it.
It's hard to get into.
Eventually, I'll probably play it.
I've heard the story's really good. It's just hard to get into if you're used to Dark Souls, because it's just a different attack style.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even I don't even going into it like it's a like a Dark Souls game. It's just hard for me to get into the game.
I think that's where a lot of people get confused, right? They played all the Dark Souls games and then they go, well, the only thing I haven't played from FromSoft that's Souls like is Sekiro, and they walk in going to play that game the same way they would play a Dark Souls game, and they get completely uninterested because they have a hard time adapting to the new play style.
Yeah. Oh, is going back to the Crab's Treasure thing.
Yeah.
Another problem I'm having with it is that I've seen a few of the trailers, and they are really heavily pushing where it's a Souls like, come play it. It's a come Souls community. It's Souls like, and I feel like they're really just trying to rip off like not rip off, but like trying to pull everyone who played Elden Ring and like the big boon that Souls got from Elden Ring, and it feels kind of, I don't know.
Right.
I don't like it. That being said, I don't know anything about the game. I haven't actually played it. I haven't played it, so I can't tell you if I feel like it's an actual Souls-like or anything like that. I may eventually play it, but as of right now, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see you play it and see what your thoughts are, because I thought it was good. I mean, I thought that it
looks very cartoony. So like it reminds me a lot, from what I've seen, it reminds me a lot of a lot of like PS2 games I played when I was a kid. Like it reminds me of like Spyro and like Tak and the Power of Juju, Jack and Daxter, like it reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, and to be fair, like a lot of it, like they're saying, like a lot of the like trailers and whatnot are saying it's a Souls like. A lot of the reviews are calling it an approachable Souls like game.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I just like they actively are like it's a Souls game, like, and I don't.
Right.
Eh.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of adaptations, tonight's big subject and conversation is the adaptation of video games into other medias. We could talk a little bit of like both sides of this, of like things that were and then turned into games. So like we were talking about the Game of Thrones MMO, where it was something and then it turned into a video game. Pretty much every comic book thing ever is adapted from a comic book. So all your Spider-Mans, all that stuff.
You know, it was actually a really good movie adaptation. The first Harry Potter video game.
Yeah, that actually was pretty good.
On the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I owned the disc and I tried to play it, and it recently, and it gave me so much vertigo.
I will start with more current. We'll start TV and then we'll move to film. So we'll talk more current things. So Knuckles is a new Sonic series that just came out on Paramount last week. It's got 6 episodes. It's on Paramount Plus. It's a mini series. It's part of the Sonic film series, so it'll be one that we talk about from the film side. Films did fairly well. I haven't heard anything positive or negative about the Knuckles series, so I can't quote in on this, but from everything I'm seeing from the trailers and stuff, it looks pretty good. The big one for this last little bit has been the Fallout series. This Fallout series was phenomenal. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's really good. It's its own thing, so it's not an adaptation of a game. It is its own story based in the Fallout universe, and they did an amazing job. They did such a good job of the adaptation. With the character builds and the way that they brought everything in, I can't say anything negative about this. This thing has been rock solid and really, really good.
My opinion, most adaptations should go that route. Make it its own thing in the universe.
The Last of Us was really good, so that's a like for like adaptation. There's some nuances that they changed a little bit, but not really. Everything's kind of exactly as it was in the game series. So season 1 is game 1. Season 2 is going to be game 2. And that's in production right now. Twisted Metal came out last year. I didn't see anything on this. There was a lot of pretty reasonable actors in this, but I didn't see it. It's on Peacock, and it has been renewed for a 2nd season.
I watched a few like reviews of it, and a lot of people saying it was actually pretty good. A lot of people were kind of scared of like the way they were going to come at. I can't think of the clown's name, but apparently they did it pretty good.
Yeah. Halo, I heard, was an absolute bomb. Heard it was an absolute atrocity, and that it should never have become a TV series. It was
season 2.
Really, really bad. Some TV series that are in development right now. We can gauge our opinions on whether these will do well or not. Final Fantasy IX. I think Final Fantasy IX has a strong enough story that it could be a good animated series. So these are animated series. So we'll start there. The Grounded game is apparently has an untitled series coming out. The Honey I Shrunk the Neighbor's Backyard game, the one that Harley won't play because it's got bugs in it.
Makes sense.
Hyper Light Drifter. I never played Hyper Light Drifter, but I heard good things about it. That's getting an animated series. Kingdom Hearts is getting an animated series. Watch Dogs is getting an animated series. No release dates on these, just that they are in development.
Knowing Tetsuya Nomura, he's gonna like make like the video game and like the TV like actually cross over or something like that.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad. Oh. Oh.
Live action adaptations that are in development right now. Alan Wake Zero. I know you've been playing through the Alan Wake series. I don't know if you're done.
I have not touched Alan Wake.
But I know Zero has been playing through 1 and 2 on his stream. Assassin's Creed is getting another live action movie. Apparently they did so well, they're gonna get another one. Oh no, this is a live action TV series. I'm sorry, these are TV series. So it's getting a TV series, live action TV series. That'll be interesting. Wonder if that's gonna be like an HBO thing. Let's see. Final Fantasy is getting a live action TV series.
Yeah,
They didn't say which one, it just says Final Fantasy.
Bombing in 2016, yeah.
Yeah. God of War is getting a live action TV series. Horizon's getting a live action TV series. I think both of those games would do very well if they did it in the right way.
Well, they just need to, they need to do the Last of Us treatment for those two.
Yeah, they need to take it as it is and then just kind of adapt it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. A Plague's Tale. I think that one would actually be really good.
I've seen bits and pieces of Plague's Tale, and I really want to play it.
It's good. PlayStation has it for free, I think, from time to time.
Yeah, and that would also be a really good adaptation, from what I can tell.
Yeah, it's got a pretty solid storyline. All right, let's talk movies. So, Five Nights at Freddy's is the last like May. Well, let me look at release dates here. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's is the last big movie release. I heard it did very well. Really its box office was 279 million, so I would say it did fairly well.
Yeah, a lot of people really have got it.
Yeah, it was a pretty hype movie series. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I believe was Drew Carey's last film.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It did very well. $405 million at the box office. It had a pretty reasonable rating. Uncharted, that was with what's his name? The new Spider-Man right now.
Tom Holland. Had it, and then Tom Holland. Yeah.
That I heard that I watched a bit of that and it did fairly well. I thought it was pretty good.
I heard it didn't do like good enough to like keep going. I heard like
no, I heard it didn't do well enough to keep going, but it was like from a like profitability perspective, it did fairly well. It box officed 401 million. 2001's edition of Mortal Kombat. I remember the one from like forever.
I remember watching like a 1990 one or something like that, like a really old one.
There was a Monster Hunter series back in 2020.
One. I heard the movie with Mia Jovovich, right?
Yes.
I heard. Yeah, that one like bombed from what I could tell.
It did bomb.
From what I heard. As much as I like Mia Jovovich, she's never in anything good.
Yeah. The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie did 319 versus its sequel did 405. So it did do better its second time around. I'm wondering if they put more money into the budget for the second one. So that one was a weird okay, if we're talking about original, I don't know do you remember what happened with that original Sonic game or Sonic movie?
Oh,
they released
like,
the trailer and they had like the
then,
terrible, trashy looking, the Uncanny Valley looking Sonic, and they had to go back to the drawing board.
Oh yeah, we bullied the movie studio into actually releasing a better 100%.
And I don't feel bad about it at all. Detective Pikachu is technically a Pokemon adaptation, live action adaptation. It did very well, 450 million. I mean, anything with Ryan Reynolds in it's going to be phenomenal, right? And then Rampage. Okay, so I have qualms with Rampage. So Rampage, its original concept was that it was people who were radioactive and turned into giant monsters. That was this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they turned it into just giant beast renditions of their predecessors. I feel like if you had done it the way the game was, it would have been a much better movie. It did fairly well, had The Rock in it. It did fairly well, but I think it would have been a better movie if you had done like like the actual way that Rampage was. Because I remember playing Rampage on the N64 when you like jumped on buildings and you like punched them and then like kicked them, and then like when you died enough, you turned into your little person again. Then you like walked off the stage and waited a few minutes to come back again.
From what I could tell with like the movie, it looked like King Kong Beast Tamers or something like that.
Basically,
it looked like?
Yep, that was my problem with it. Tomb Raider. I think this is the newer one. This is the 2018 one.
Yeah.
And this actress is actually the actress that plays in the mocap for the newer games. That was the connection. They made that connection set. Assassin's Creed, that movie back in 2016, which bombed pretty hard.
Yeah,
it was
bombed. Yeah.
Really, really, really bad. The Warcraft movie, which was really, really bad. The Hitman movie, I actually liked the first iteration of the Hitman movie, which was back in 2007, and they did a second one and it didn't do nearly as well. It was really bad. Let's see. They've got a Borderlands series, which is supposed to be really good.
Oh, the Borderlands movie? Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Got bad reviews.
Is it out?
No, it's not out. It's coming out on August 9th.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Me and Harley both watched. We're big Borderlands fans.
Hey, thank you for the raid.
Hey, raid.
Welcome in, Raiders. We are talking about movie adaptations of video games and TV adaptations. We went through TV, now we're talking about movies. But yeah, everybody should go check out. Everybody here who doesn't follow Valorant should definitely check Valorant out because Valorant's awesome.
So me and Harley are both really big Borderlands fans, and we watched that trailer. The casting is atrocious.
Oh man,
absolutely.
I wonder if they wanted atrocious. More and they couldn't get it.
Well, they've got some big names. They've got Kate Blanchett. They've got Jack Black. They've got
Isn't Jack Black Claptrap?
Yeah, it's Claptrap. Yeah, he shouldn't have been Claptrap. He should have been Salvador. They should have brought him in as Salvador. They also like, I don't agree with like any of the fucking like the hunters that they're throwing in. Really, like there's other hunters they should have used. And then Kevin Hart. No,
Kevin Hart's in everything. You can't say that. He's in everything. Literally everything.
He should not be playing Roland. I'm sorry.
This man is in everything. I don't know what to tell you. Just deal with it.
Okay, is it Kate Blanchett too old to be playing Lilith? Okay. I'm like that's a big thing. There's a lot. Also Jamie Lee Curtis. Also, I feel too old. Me and Harley both feel this way. I mean, like they could have pulled in, honestly, they could have put a bunch of no names and it would have been fun, great. But also, you watched it. Every single joke in the trailer was not a joke. And
of course,
it was just like no.
So, I will say, I'm looking at this list of upcoming movies, and Sony is throwing a lot of money into movie adaptations. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't doubt that.
Days Gone is on there.
We've been getting a lot of big hits more recently with video game
Days Gone, Death Stranding. These are the Sony ones. Ghost of Tsushima, Gravity Rush, Jack and Daxter.
Daxter. What?
Yeah, apparently Nintendo is partnering with Sony for a Legend of Zelda film. Who would have saw that? Who's that? Who has that on their bingo card?
Hold on. I'm suffering from whiplash from the Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, well, quick. I think it's probably gonna be animated. Or they're gonna do like a Sonic the Hedgehog type deal with that one.
Well, I mean, as long as it's not like, I could totally see them doing Jack X, and like if they do that, dear God, no, I don't want
Duke
Jack
Nukem.
X.
Didn't Duke Nukem already have a movie? No, I guess they didn't. They're gonna do a Duke Nukem movie. That's Legendary Pictures. Firewatch. I don't know if anybody watched Firewatch or played Firewatch. It's like a small indie game. They're turning that into some kind of a movie. 2 more Five Nights at Freddy's movies. The Ghost of Tsushima one I'm actually kind of excited about. I really need to watch Shogun. So I've heard really good things about Shogun. Let's see. Gravity Rush, Mortal Kombat is getting another sequel.
BioShock seems really interesting. That one seems really...
BioShock was another one. I know that Splinter Cell is getting a film, and it's the guy who played Sam Fisher in the last film, or in the last game. It's not, because it wasn't the big uproar with that was that the Blacklist actor, or not Blacklist. What was the last one?
I thought it was Blacklist. Wait. Yeah,
was it Blacklist?
I think it was Blacklist, yeah.
Maybe it was Blacklist. Okay, so Splinter Cell Blacklist, that actor was not the normal actor that had played Sam Fisher for every single game up until that point. They recasted him because they were casting the same actor for the mocap as they were for the actual movie. So it's that same actor.
Yeah, Blacklist was, yeah.
Okay. Yakuza's getting a film.
See, a lot of these could be good. A lot of these
could be really, really good if they do them right? I mean, there's some that are here that I'm like, I don't even want to say because they're there, but it's like,
I mean, they are releasing some pretty good ones pretty recently, but like there are some flops mixed in.
Right. And it also depends on the studio, right? I think Sony's doing a good job with some of their stuff. They're letting the directors of these games and the writers of these games go in and build the scripts for these.
Netflix released a Gran Turismo movie?
I don't think it's the Gran Turismo that you're thinking it is.
It has on the thing, it has like the GT like logo for the video game.
Oh, I guess it is. I was thinking of a different I mean,
I think Gran
Turismo got Orlando Bloom in it.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Let's talk about people who do not need to continue to be actors anymore. But like Death Stranding was good. I think that would make a good movie. They want to do a Dead by Daylight, but like Dead by Daylight's whole thing is they take on other villains. That's their whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Firewatch was a good game. If you want a good indie like single player game, Firewatch is definitely worth playing. Gravity Rush was really good. Let's see. The Jack and Daxter one, I'm interested to see what that's going to be.
That one is definitely interesting. I do wonder how that's gonna end up being.
Yeah, I don't know.
I looked it up and I didn't see anything.
Yeah, Just Cause.
I don't know. I have not seen a video game adaptation in over a decade. I think
Metal
the last
Gear,
one
that would be a good one. Metal Gear would be another really good one.
I saw was Resident Evil Extinction, I think was the last one I saw.
That was in there. A Portals film. Do you think Portals would do well? Portal will do well?
Portal?
Yeah.
It could. You'd have to, I think you could make it like you'd have to make it like a horror game. Or not horror game, horror movie.
Yeah.
I feel like, and you could kind of do it in like the style of like almost like Paranormal Activity style, and just like make the whole game through like the aperture surveillance cameras.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Stray. Stray was good. I liked Stray.
Stray is an interesting one to try and like make a video game or a TV show or movie out of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I think it looks both hopeful and bleak at the same time.
Yeah, it's all hopeful and all bleak. That's the way.
We'll have to see. We'll just have to see how it all turns out. I think we just have to wait and watch. We'll probably get some more big banger hits like Pikachu, like Sonic, like Mario movie, but we'll probably also be getting a lot of flops. Probably. I'm waiting for them to like release another like. I guess like the Monster Hunter one is probably like that. I'm waiting for them to release another like old action movie that's like just like super cliche, like the original like Tomb Raider with why can't I think of that actress's name? Or like the Resident Evil movies or like Doom.
Oh, and
with
you're
The
talking about
Rock and
Angelina
stuff.
Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie. Yeah. Like I'm waiting
Yeah,
for them to
yeah.
like make like another like really cringe one.
That's
or
another
Max
one
Payne.
that's another one that went video movie adaptation to video game adaptation was Wanted.
Was Wanted. I mean,
That
I
was
know
one
of
where
the
they were
movie.
bending
I know the
bullets.
movie Wanted. Was Wanted a video game?
Yeah, they made a Wanted video game
Oh, okay.
where you could literally bend bullets. That was the whole thing. It was like a shooter that you could bend the bullets.
And that was the thing. That was the main thing in the movie.
Yeah.
Bend bullets. Bend the bullet.
Yeah, it was Wanted Weapons of Fate.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that.
Old PS3, Xbox 360 game.
What have you been up to recently?
So we're doing a lot of work on the Etsy shop. So getting that ready to do another soft launch. Been playing. I played a little bit of. We talked about this a little bit of another Crab's Tale on the Crab's Treasure. And then I've been playing a ton of Potion Permit in my free time. I started getting back into Final Fantasy 14 again this last week to do the yokai event because I missed it the first time they did it. So been running around doing that a little bit. But yeah, just kind of chilling, watching some anime, watching some Fearin', watching some Kaiju number 8. Both very good animes.
We're gonna have an anime episode at some point.
We could just talk about anime. That would be pretty fun.
Let's talk about anime all day. We'll bring Val on. We can talk about Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's right. We can bring Val on, and then Val can do a Jujutsu Kaisen episode. That would be
all
super fun.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. That's all that we would just talk about the whole episode.
Yeah. When they
I'd have to catch up on the manga if I was going to do that. We'd have to put like a big spoiler alert on it.
When we get a season 3 announcement, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing Monster Hunter World. So I was doing an Elden Ring playthrough. I was doing a dagger only Elden Ring playthrough. And then on stream, because I think it spawned from this conversation where we were like about the Crab's Treasure, and we were talking about like Souls likes, different things like that. And
You're
I think
like,
I brought up
Monster Hunter. You're like, where's the Monster Hunter?
Well, I remember I said like I mean I think some of the bosses in Monster Hunter are harder than Souls games. Was I think what I said, and then everyone in chat was just like, "Oh yeah, Monster Hunter! I love Monster Hunter.
Forgot about Monster
Hunter this." And then so I was just like, you know what? Let's play some Monster Hunter. So I pulled up World on my PS5, and I started fighting Fatalis because I never actually I quit before Fatalis came out, or not quit, but stopped playing. And I just didn't have like the stuff for it. So then and so instead of farming for it, a bunch of people in the chat were like, "Oh yeah, I have it, but I have it for the PC." So it's kind of like I own it for the PC. Might as well just do a whole new playthrough. And my friend Pedro's joining me on that, so we're playing through the whole game again. That's lots of fun. And I've been doing some Final Fantasy off stream. I still got to level. I still got to finish leveling everything up to 90. I think I still have 2 classes in 70s, but they're all like 74, I think, right now. And then I have 2 classes in the 80s, and then after that, I'm done. I have everything in 90.
Nice. So, preparation for Dawn Trail.
Should hopefully have everything 90 before Dawn Trail. I just have to no life freaking Baja for the 70 to 80s while I watch anime. Because that's how I've been leveling them all to 80. But yeah, so all right, when's your next stream? What are you going to be doing?
So tomorrow's my next stream, and we are going to be wrapping up the last of Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII OG, and moving into Crisis Core.
I love Crisis Core.
It's gonna be good. I'm excited. I did a soft playthrough on a day that I was sick last week. I think it was Wednesday. I leveled up enough to be able to destroy Sephiroth. So yeah, I think we're good to finish up Sephiroth and do 7, and then we'll jump right into Crisis Core, and then into Remake and Rebirth.
Have you ever played Crisis Core?
I have not.
Crisis Core is one of my favorite games.
Yeah, so we did the blast through game, like we did it with all the junk turned on for Final Fantasy VII OG, because I knew I was gonna have to grind 3 games, and I was like, I'm not grinding 4 games. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
So we ran through 7 pretty fast. I think it was like 8 days of 7, just racing through it.
Yeah.
So it was it was good. It was fun. It was a good. I love the story. It's a great game. And but yeah, Gibbles, what are you up to this week?
Should just be pretty much any day I can, mostly Monster Hunter, so I can like actually get to the end game of Monster Hunter. It is completely in my Discord. I post my session stuff, so if I'm streaming and you want to join the session, you can just in the looking for group section of my Discord, you can see and join.
Here's my ultimate question for you.
What?
Do you think that your will to play Monster Hunter will give out before your arms give out, or do you think your arms will give out before your will to play Monster Hunter?
I am totally fine. Okay, so if you don't know, I do push-ups for when I play Souls-likes. I do it on death, and I have redeems for it, and I have if you donate bits or gift subs, it triggers push-ups for me as well. In the last 2 days, thanks to Scuba Steve in the chat gifting subs and bits, I've done 1,000 push-ups in the last 2 days. And after those 1,000 push-ups, you know what's sore? My calves. Because yesterday was leg day, and I hike for work. My arms are not sore at all today. The only thing that hurts is my calves.
Love it. Anyways. All right, well, guys, as normal, we are going to wrap up tonight's episode. Thank you guys for joining, for those who have stuck around. As per normal, we do not raid on podcast nights, so we recommend that you guys jump to your next favorite Twitch streamer. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, and yeah, thanks for the raid from Valorant. And have a great night. We'll be back. We're hoping at some point we've got the feels out for a Biggie stream to get the rating conversation going. I might reach out to Hex and see if he'd be interested in coming on, because he's now 4 out of 5 ultimates down. First year playing Final Fantasy, and he only has 1 left. It'd be a good conversation to bring on and have him on there and talk about that stuff, and get him on the show and talk about his experiences and whatnot. Great friend of of both of our streams, and we're a great friend of his stream, and so great community guy. So big shout outs to Hex. If you haven't followed him, please do so. But anyways, guys, have a great and wonderful night. Be great to each other, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.